turbocharged and ready to go. Tonight's main event sees Cedric Alexander go one-on-one with the Prince, Finn Balor, plus tag team action as the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, face the Lucha House Party, that's Gran Metalik and Lince Dorado. And also our opening contest, it is the premier athlete, Tony Nese, going one-on-one with Sanity's own Eric Young. And Eric Young and the rest of Sanity have laid out everyone in their paths since they arrived here in No Limits Wrestling. In fact, they debuted and immediately set their sights on Broken Matt Hardy, attacking Matt in their debut in this company. And since then, they've gone as far as to destroy Hardy's drone Vanguard 1. Matt Hardy wanted Jeff's help, but Jeff wants nothing to do with Matt. And Bayley, after offering support, was kidnapped by Sanity to try and get to Matt Hardy. She was in trouble this past week when, of all people, Buddy Murphy came to Bayley's rescue. We don't know why. Hopefully on the next NLW episode, we will find out why. However, Buddy Murphy's been associating with the Ministry of Darkness, so it's quite odd that he'd choose to help Bayley. Even Bayley was confused, but Sanity, they kidnapped Bayley to try and get to Matt Hardy, and you know that Eric Young wants to send a message to Matt Hardy here tonight ahead of the Insane Deletion match on episode 91. But Tony Nese may hand Eric Young a victory before the Insane Deletion, as Eric Young gets the boot up and a swinging neck breaker to Nese. Of course, on NLW episode 91, it is going to be the Insane Deletion as Sanity take on Matt Hardy. And now Tony Nese flying over the top with a Fosby flop. And that's after he hit that handstand and super kick onto Eric Young. And what a win it would be for Tony Nese to one-up Sanity, but they would not be happy with that as he drives Tony Nese on top of his head with a Death Valley driver. And now the Boston Crab. In the centre of the ring, Tony Nese has nowhere to go. Is he going to tap out here? But a kick. Now Tony Nese is pound for pound one of the strongest men in wrestling today. And now springs it in for the standing moonsault. Here's a cover, but a kick out from Eric Young. And now picks him up in a German suplex. Eric Young's head hitting the turnbuckle. Now Tony looking for the running Nese, but he misses. And Eric Young goes for the neck breaker, but Tony Nese hangs on. Now on the top rope, 450, but moves out of the way. And now into that wheelbarrow neck breaker. Tony Nese is down. And that allows Eric Young to scale to the top and hit the elbow drop. And Eric Young picks up the victory in our opening match here on Turbo. Well, Tony Nese wowed with his athleticism, but Eric Young had the ring savvy and the experience necessary to get the win here tonight on Turbo. Well, you know that Matt Hardy is watching at home. This incredible performance from Tony Nese, the handstand and the dive over the top. But Eric Young used his power to his advantage, but Nese kept coming with the aerial offense. He missed the running Nese as well as the 450, and that allowed Eric Young to capitalize. Now Sanity must look forward to the Insane Deletion match at the Hardy compound. Will Sanity be able to get the job done? On episode 91, we will see. Well, folks, also on episode 91, we will hear from Triple H, who might fire Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you know that the Undisputed Era want Austin fired right now. You know what, boys and girls, there have been so many injustices in NLW, I don't even know where to begin. The fact that Stone Cold Steve Austin is still walking the streets, let alone still the commissioner, disgusts us. I'm glad that Stone Cold isn't here on Turbo tonight, because you fans on NLW Figs get to hear us speak our minds unmuzzled, baby. And I don't know what kind of game Austin is playing. He could have traded us to medal in the NLW draft. Instead, he decided to keep us on this show. And for what? To keep us locked into our contracts, to torment us? All because we decided Austin's time was done when I hit him with that Panama Sunrise through that announce table, baby. Austin should have just stayed at home. First, you defy the Executive Vice President Triple H by showing up at the arena and assaulting us. We acted in a democratic and fair way by signing a petition, and what do? You beat up everyone who signed it, including me. You cost me a chance to get in title contention, and that makes me sick. And then last week, you crossed the line. We peacefully refused, protested to compete. You don't own us, Austin. And when we refused to wrestle, then you decided to come in. Lord knows where you got that crane from. Luckily, we jumped out of that car at the last second, but you were trying to kill us. You destroyed my car. Do you know how expensive that paint job was? Okay, you stupid redneck. And now, next week on NLW, Triple H will decide your fate. And I'm gonna be there, waiting to laugh at you as he fires you in the middle of that ring. It is gonna be so satisfying to see you get what you deserve, Austin. And that's not just a fact, that is undisputed. Well, on NLW episode 91, we will hear whether Stone Cold Steve Austin will stay or whether he will be let go as the NLW commissioner. Tune in then to find out what will happen. But for now, here on Turbo, we are ready for tag team action. And about to make their way to the ring, it is Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, formerly of the Balor Club, now members of the NLW roster. But also in the tag ranks, FTR have been making a name for themselves, firstly attacking the Young Bucks, then beating American Alpha in a street fight on episode 89. And the Young Bucks were greeted by the Good Brothers. The Good Brothers congratulating them on being the tag team champions. Trying to be all chummy, but if you'll recall, it was a couple years ago where the Good Brothers made it their mission to try and take out the Young Bucks, so it's an interesting change of tone. Nevertheless, you can't really trust Gallows and Anderson for anything, and the Young Bucks know that. However, maybe they've turned a new leaf, I don't know. Tonight though, their mission is simply to defeat the Lucha House Party. And now, not even waiting for the bell, Luke Gallows with a boot to the side of Lindsay's face. And the Lucha House Party, they're exciting to watch. In fact, on episode 91, Gran Metalik is going to go one-on-one with Mustafa Ali. In the Super X Cup, the winner goes through to the final to face Pac. And now Lindsay with the springboard into the stunner, now tagging Metalik, and Metalik wants to make sure he doesn't get injured before his big match against Ali. After all, he could earn himself a X Division title shot. And the Good Brothers regrouping, as are the House Party. But look out for Lindsay! Tope, Suicida. And now Gran Metalik looking for the run, but Carl Anderson with the bicycle boot. On the shoulders of the TKO. And a Tornado DDT from Metalik. One of the most underrated wrestlers in NLW at the moment. As on the outside, Gallows sends Lindsay into the ring post, and that allows Carl Anderson to take advantage of the distraction, holding him in now with the headlock. And Gallows wants the tag. You know they've got their sights set on the NLW tag team titles, despite claiming to be friendly with the Young Bucks. I'll believe it when I see it. And great tag team maneuvers here. The teamwork on display with a vertical suplex, but a kick out from Metalik. And now Anderson looking for the boot of doom. Gonna hit him with that single leg drop kick. But Metalik rolls underneath and makes the tag to Lindsay Dorado. On the top rope now for the crossbody. And in comes Gallows, but he gets super kicked out of the ring. And the big man now on the floor. Misses the clothesline. Springboard. Moonsault in for the cover. And a kick out from Anderson. Anderson just about kicking out as Metalik. King of the ropes with the elbow drop. And Lindsay going to get tagged in now. Looking for the shooting star press, but look out for Gallows. A brutal clothesline, sending Metalik inside out. But Lindsay with a shooting star. Caught out. Another magic killer. And it's Carl Anderson who picks up the victory for the team. The Good Brothers beating the Lucha House Party. Well, FTR may be the next in line for a tag title match, but you have to believe that the Good Brothers are now in that conversation. Their first win since being drafted to NLW, and what a win it was. The Lucha House Party did all they could to try and put away the Good Brothers, but that clothesline turned the tide, and then catching out this shooting star press into the Magic Killer. An absolutely fantastic maneuver which secured the bag for the Good Brothers, and they're all about making that money. They are victorious. And are they friendly with the Young Bucks? Or are they just trying to get to those NLW Tag Team Championships? Time will tell. So the Good Brothers with the victory, perhaps they're on their way to a tag team title match against the Young Bucks. They're going to have to wait for FTR to get their shot first, however. Someone else with title aspirations is the prize fighter, Kevin Owens, who returned to NLW after being traded in the draft, immediately making an impact, destroying AJ Styles and Seth Rollins with a pop-up powerbomb on the apron. The very next week, we were set to hear NLW champion Daniel Bryan respond to Kenny Omega's title challenge, but before he could do that, Kevin Owens attacked Daniel Bryan, powerbombing him off the stage through a table. Owens was in action in that main event, and what a great main event it was. He defeated the phenomenal AJ Styles, but after the match, Daniel Bryan came down to the ring to get revenge on Owens. It looked as if Owens was going to injure Daniel Bryan permanently before Kenny Omega made the save once again for Daniel Bryan, but this time, Bryan didn't appreciate Omega sticking his nose in his business. They got into a tussle, but it was Kevin Owens who ended up standing tall. The title scene has a lot of components over there on NLW, as it does on Metal, because the Metalweight title is scheduled to be defended in an Elimination Chamber match at our next pay-per-view, Ungovernable. This past week on Metal, we saw newcomers to the brand Edge and Shinsuke Nakamura qualify for the Chamber, defeating Ken Shamrock and Seth Rollins respectively. They joined John Morrison, Drew McIntyre and the champion Tetsuya Naito in that Chamber. And now there's only one spot remaining. But who's going to fill it? Well, we're set to find out in a Battle Royal next week on Metal. However, it's still up in the air whether this match is actually going to take place, because this past week, Tetsuya Naito and his lawyer went up to the commissioner and said that being forced into this match was a risk that Tetsuya Naito shouldn't be contractually obligated to take. The lawyer threatened to sue, and Naito for good measure spat in the commissioner's face, and that's after the commissioner has had this trouble with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was fired by the commissioner after a lengthy suspension. That's after Samoa Joe attacked officials, but now I think that Naito is getting in Joe's head. Even after the commissioner went to this extent to get rid of Joe, he had no choice. I'm sure he didn't want to, but that's still not enough. And Naito, he is obsessed with that Metalweight title, and for the first time, it seems like he's afraid. He's afraid to step into this Elimination Chamber, and for good reason, because when you step into that chamber, you don't walk out the same. Even if Naito somehow manages to retain that title, even with Samoa Joe seemingly fired for good, he won't be the same man he was entering the Elimination Chamber. I'll tell you one thing, Ungovernable, set to be a phenomenal event. And speaking of phenomenal, we have a phenomenal main event coming up right now. It is Cedric Alexander set to make his way to the ring. The Age of Alexander here tonight live in front of this audience on Turbo. And remember, as always, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. Try and get us to 1,000 subscribers soon. We would love your help and your support in getting there. Like the video and comment down below what you thought of Turbo here tonight as we head in on the road to Ungovernable. And at that event, the Prince meets the Bruiserweight. And live tonight, Finn Balor is ready for action. And on Metal, this past week, Finn Balor made the challenge to Pete Dunne. Considering Pete Dunne is still injured, will he even be able to make it to Ungovernable. If he is, he will go one-on-one with Finn Balor. So Dunn versus Balor set for the pay-per-view, but tonight Balor has his hands full with Cedric Alexander. And we all know what happened to Pete Dunne. Finn Balor driving down in that car with a sledgehammer to the knee of Pete Dunne. He had to have minor surgery and he'll be out of action, but we hope that he'll be able to compete at Ungovernable. Tonight though, Balor must focus on Cedric. And a roll through with a kick from Balor. And again going after that knee. At Ungovernable, he'll be going after that knee of Balor. I should say of Dunne. But right now gets kicked in the face. Big chop and a drop kick from Cedric. And now step up, back elbow. And from behind, Cedric impressing right now, dropping Balor on his head with a German suplex. I'll tell you what, Alexander very much impressing, but gets stopped with a kick. And now Finn Balor stomping the skull in of Cedric. We've seen Cedric compete before in NLW against the likes of Brian Kendrick and Pac. And tonight, Finn Balor is the challenge as he kicks the hell out of him and stomps him right on the spine on the hard concrete floor. Hooks the outside leg, but a kick out from Cedric Alexander, who is in a lot of trouble at the moment. And Balor going to cut him off with the elbow to the esophagus. And boy, I'm having a hell of a time with my words today. But now Finn Balor runs at him. Oh my God! The standing Spanish fly. And I'll talk about muddling up my words. That move left me speechless. And Cedric now with a handstand. And an uppercut. But Finn Balor with a Pele. And now Cedric with a super kick. What an effort being put forward by Alexander, who runs over Tope con Hilo, wipes out Finn. Balor taken out as Cedric, like a runaway freight train, he's unstoppable, and the age of Alexander has only just begun. Springboard, clothesline, hooks both legs, but a kick out from Finn. And Finn has a habit of underestimating his opponents. Remember, no Balor Club at ringside tonight. He's all alone. But Finn counters the lumbar check into the paroxysm. Finn Balor usually would have the Gorillas of Destiny by his side, but tonight he is doing very well for himself on his own. Coup de grace to put it away. No! Catches him with a Michinoku driver and a kick out. And Cedric right back at him. And ducks again. And Cedric with a series of kicks. Pulls him in. Lumbar check. No. But a back elbow. Handspring. And John Woo drop kick. And picks him up for the Bloody Sunday. Finn Balor on the top. Driving all of his body weight with the coup de grace stomp. And Finn Balor picks up the win. A hell of a main event. As Finn Balor, you saw, he knew he was in a predicament there, and he turned up the intensity to 100. That brutality is what he's going to need to combat the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne at our next pay-per-view, Ungovernable. Well, Cedric had a lot in his arsenal. The Spanish Fly and the Tope. Sprang in with that clothesline and countered the coup de grace into a Michinoku driver, and he seemed to have a counter for everything Balor had. But the lumbar check turned around. Cedric went for the handspring, got caught with a John Woo dropkick, and Balor went right into that Bloody Sunday, aka the 1916, and that allowed him to hit the stomp from the top, and Finn Balor is victorious. Cedric impressing here tonight. That is the beauty of Turbo, that these guys get to shine. However, tonight it is Finn Balor with a win, perhaps sending a message right there, sending a message to the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, mocking him again. What will happen when Finn Balor and Pete Dunne finally go to war at Ungovernable.